Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode number 71 of the Sports Blitz. That's right, folks, episode 71. I know, just my mind is blown too.
Taking the head back and forth, Robbie.
I know, right? You're telling me. And as always, I'm Robbie. Doug is here as well. Doug, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing great, Robbie. Doing great. We had an exceptionally fun
Oh,
episode
yes.
last week.
Oh, yes.
Unbelievable. Over 70 views last
Yep.
week.
And counting.
And counting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just very excited. We had a great time. Just want to obviously thank those guys. Want to thank Dan and Stu. And who else was there?
Andrew.
Oh yeah, Andrew. Andrew Will. We certainly want to thank all of them for coming on, and this is what we do. We try to keep Rivers State Camp alive, and
Right.
it's super important to us. So we want to thank those guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
No, absolutely. And I couldn't have said it better right there. Definitely a big shout out to those guys for coming on last week. We really appreciate it. And obviously, if you are living under a rock or in a cave, come on out and take a gander. Episode 71, slowly, maybe starting to get a little bit better, but I would go right back in after you watch our episode. But regardless, I mean, this is a big week, as it always is in the sports world. It is Super Bowl week, Super Bowl 55, just 2 days, or just about 2 days away, less than 72 hours at this point. And we are going to dive into all things Super Bowl tonight with our Sports Blitz Super Bowl 55 preview. We are very excited as we'll get into all things Bucks versus Chiefs. Again, going down Sunday evening from Tampa, which is a storyline in and of itself. First time a team has played in a Super Bowl in its home stadium.
There's no home team, home court, home field advantage in that, is there?
No, not at all. No way. No way. Especially when you have, the greatest quarterback of all time playing for said team that's playing in their home stadium. That's kind of where I wanted to start off with tonight, Doug, is number 12, good old friend Tom Brady, who, as I said, will be playing in his 10th, I can't believe it, 10th Super Bowl at age 43, albeit not in a Patriots uniform, in a Tampa Bay Bucks uniform, going for his 7th Super Bowl victory. And actually, this is the first time, I think, ever in a Super Bowl that the last two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, 10th. Yeah, exactly. By the way, if you hear us say random words or just say random things, we do have a live chat going between Doug and myself, where we will just type in random things, and usually the other person will repeat them. Live chat. Doug just said live chat. So yeah, that's what that is. If you are wondering why I just randomly said 10th or live chat. But like I was saying, Doug, first time repeat. Yes. First time that the last two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks have gone up against each other. Obviously, Brady having won Super Bowl 53 and then Mahomes last year, Super Bowl 54. So I wanted to discuss Tom Brady and the fact that, like I said, in his first year not in a Patriots uniform, here he is playing in his 10th Super Bowl. Doug, I just wanted to sort of get your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions heading into this game on Sunday as you think about or prepare to watch Tom Brady, again, the GOAT, number 12, number one in our hearts, play in a Super Bowl not in a Patriots uniform.
It pretty much sucks, actually. That's the first thing I could think of. The second thought is that I'm actually, for the first time, well, I shouldn't say for the first time in a while, because again, we have been to the Super Bowl many times the last 20 years. So I really can't say I'm excited about the Super Bowl because we're not in it. Right. I guess that was your basic question.
Yeah.
I'm not excited because the Patriots are in it. I'm not in it, but I am excited about the fact that I think this is going to be a good game.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be a blowout, unless somebody just absolutely falters. You know, that Brady gets hurt, or Mahomes gets hurt, which I don't think this is going to happen. Um, I just, I'm feeling kind of that startup of the excitement. Even if Brady's not on the team, not on the Patriots anymore, you start to still get that feeling of, I really want to see this game.
Yeah.
Really want to see this game. It's like the young star against the old man star kind of thing. And I'm
Yeah.
not necessarily calling Brady an old man because he's not old, but for football, he's not young. So I guess that's what I'm saying is that you want to see this rivalry.
It's like the master versus the student, like kind of one of those like old time, like
exactly, absolutely. And this is the kind of game I thought that, you know, the Brady Rogers, you know, that particular thing was more like a Super Bowl anyway, a little bit. We always wanted to see Brady and Rogers because Brady was always in the AFC and Rogers obviously in the NFC. And let's have them. We've wanted that battle for 20 years.
Right.
We finally got it, but
or even Brady versus Bree. How about Brady versus Breeze the week before? I mean, you look at like the last 3 weeks.
We wanted to see that too.
Last 3 games: Brady versus Breeze, Brady versus Rodgers, and now Brady versus Mahomes. I mean, you can't ask for another run quite like that.
Absolutely, and you want to see these games because these games are super exciting to see. And my thoughts on the fact that the Patriots are not in it is I've been over it for a while now. I've been watching the playoffs. The playoffs have been excellent. A lot of the games have been really, really good. So my thought is that I don't have much of a thought except for the fact that I'm looking forward to seeing the Super Bowl, seeing seeing how the teacher can actually teach some things to the master, or how the master is still the master over the student. We'll have to see kind of how that progresses.
I'm a little bit perplexed because you just basically said the teacher is going to teach things to the master. I don't know how that.
No, I meant that like the kid. You know, the master will teach.
No, I knew what you were trying to say, but the way it came out was kind of like, huh?
Right.
What?
I just meant if see a couple of things that Mahomes does and Brady goes, holy crap. And then you see some of the things that Brady does and Mahomes is on the sidelines going, oh yeah, I've seen that the last 20 years. Yeah. No way to stop that. So that's kind of what I'm talking about.
No, I know. And I definitely agree with you that this is probably the most excited I've been for a non-Patriot Super Bowl. I'd probably say ever. I can't even remember the last time I was this excited.
Yeah, because we're mostly in the Super Bowl, so we're always excited about it.
But even just like this is the years that we haven't been. I mean, this is the most sort of hyped I've been in anticipation of a Super Bowl. Like I said, ever one that's not involved the Patriots. So it's going to be very exciting, and sort of segueing in to the teams themselves. Obviously, Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, come into the Super Bowl having to really go on a bit of a run in the NFC playoffs. They were the 5th seed in the NFC, finishing 11-5 in the regular season. They obviously knocked off. They had to win 3 games on the road, obviously,
which is not easy to do.
Which is not easy to do at all.
Not in the NFL, it is.
3 weeks in a row on the road in the playoffs is never an easy feat. Just ask the 2008 New York Giants. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, so they go on the road. They defeat the Washington football team, which I think we all expected there in the first round. Then they go into New Orleans and beat the Saints. And then obviously in the NFC title game, going into Green Bay and beating Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. So I was just curious, like, sort of getting into this Bucs team overall a little bit here, sort of this run that they've had to get here to their home stadium for Super Bowl 55, which again, never been able to say that before. Just sort of what your thoughts have been about the Bucks and just even just their season overall, but in particular sort of this 3-game run that they've had that finds them one step away from the Lombardi Trophy. The Pack, yes.
Yeah, I'm I guess I'm surprised and not surprised. I guess to clarify what that means is that I'm not surprised because we're talking about Tom Brady.
Right.
And we've seen him the last 20 years.
Yeah.
We know what he can do.
You can never be fully surprised with a team that has Tom Brady on it, making it this far.
No, and if you look at the 5 games that they lost, you're looking at even the start of how they started. You could see that there were games that we were like, oh, see, his, the defense isn't that great, or he throws too hard because guys are dropping the football,
all these different things.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, I guess I was surprised, but I was, after a while, he started to get into a groove, and he started to get into winning games, and he just looked like the old Brady. Yeah. He looked like he didn't look like he did last year, or not this past year, but last year,
right,
when we had him.
Right.
He didn't look like that at all. He didn't look frustrated. There were times that he was frustrated. There were times where Godwin dropped the ball, or Miller would drop the ball. Typically not Miller as much as Godwin. And there were situations where he would get frustrated. But we've seen that before too. It's not like we haven't seen this. Was it surprising? No, I don't think it was really surprising. I think we were very curious. I was certainly curious. And then there's the whole thing about Belichick versus Brady, and I don't think this should be a versus for any of that stuff anyway. And that's something we can talk about later if we're going to talk about it. But it's, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I really wasn't surprised. I certainly wasn't surprised about the playoffs, although I thought that he would have a tough time with Green Bay. I thought he would have a tough time, going in. I thought he'd have a tough time with the Saints, a tougher time with the Saints. But was I surprised? No, I wasn't surprised. We've seen this, and that's why it's hard to bet against somebody. Hard to bet against a team with Brady on it, knowing that he's got something to prove, and he does. Just does. And when he's got something to prove, he loses a game.
Watch out.
The last 20 years, Robbie, he loses one game. He typically did not lose the next game. That was a rarity in the last 20 years with the Patriots. He just did it. I'm not talking about the last year with the Patriots. I'm talking about the last 20 years.
Okay, good. I was about to say, yeah.
Not the last year, because the last year he didn't have anybody. He had, people from Wellesley football team on the team, as far as I'm concerned, Wellesley High School. So not to put those guys down, because believe me, they just saying, not professional. It just didn't seem like he was in a groove, but he's been in that groove before, and we've seen it, and he's been in that groove this year. Yeah. So that's kind of, I guess that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree with you in the sense that you knew that this Bucks team, as opposed to, the Patriots of the 2019-20 season, even being the number 5 seed, even having to play from the wild card round on, the chances that this Bucks team had were just different. I mean, you and I talked about in our playoff preview how we felt like the Bucks were one of the 3 sort of favorites in the NFC, along with the Packers and along with the Saints, and sort of we saw how that played out. And a big reason for that was what you were just talking about with the receiving core. I mean, it's a lot easier to win these games when you're throwing to Godwin, when you're throwing to Mike Evans, when you're throwing to Antonio Brown, just the guys that he had, the guys that he was able to throw to this year, as opposed to last year when, who's he throw to? Edelman, and then, like you said, the group from off of Route 1. Really, I mean, it's not even, there's not even a comparison between the two receiving cores there. We knew that this Bucs receiving core, even coming into the season, was going to enable this offense to be a lot more powerful and a lot more explosive than the Patriots offense of the year before that he had to play in. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at all that he got them here. I'm not surprised at all that and I said this, even though I picked, I'll be honest, I picked against them against New Orleans and Green Bay, but I even said at the time I would not be surprised if they come out and win either or both of those ball games. And look what they did. And I'll say this, the defense, which we had a lot of question marks about as the season went along, especially at the beginning of it, the defense came to play when it mattered the most. You look at that Green Bay game, how many turnovers did they force? I don't have the exact number in front of me, but they really, made the plays when they needed to. Same thing against New Orleans, same thing against Washington. They balled out when they needed to. And that's, they're also a big reason why the Bucs are now sitting where they are. And they're a big reason why, this is going to be a very exciting, very good game, is the fact that this Bucs defense has really been stepping up at the right time and really clicking at the right time. And they could give Patrick Mahomes some trouble. They really could. I would not be surprised if if it was not as much of an offensive cakewalk for Mahomes as some people might make it out to be when they talk about this Bucs defense, because the Bucs defense from week 1 is a lot different than the Bucs defense right now, and so I think that is definitely something to watch out for. Yeah, I'm curious what Brady has kind of been saying to these guys on the team that really have not been to any Super Bowls or have had far less Super Bowl experience, which is a lot of them, by the way, would have far less Super Bowl experience than he does. What he's kind of saying in that locker room to sort of get them ready for this environment, which, by the way, it's going to be a lot different than it would be any normal Super Bowl, given just sort of what's going on out there. Definitely, yeah, it definitely is a different, even just the build up to it is much different than it would be any other year. But I think the thing about it is that, Brady can, and Gronk as well, because obviously he's been there a few times, can really impart that wisdom to these guys and sort of really help coach them through, what this moment really is like. It sort of give them a feel of what to expect, and I think that could be a big help for these guys, as opposed to a team where everybody's sort of coming in on the same level of experience. The Bucs have a proven champion in Tom Brady, who definitely could be a guiding source of wisdom for a lot of those younger guys. So I'm intrigued to I'd be intrigued to know what he's sort of saying behind the scenes to those guys as they prepare for the biggest football game in all of their careers.
Well, I think he's been. I think if you listen to him after he won the AFC Championship game, I think he kind of hinted. NFC. I'm sorry. So used to him being in the NFC.
I know.
The NFC Championship is the fact that he touched upon just being NFC, right? Just being in that game to game sort of headspace, so to speak. It seems to me that he has been talking to his guys throughout this whole year. And that's just what he does, I guess. I don't know what he's exactly saying because we're not there, so we don't know. But what I can guess is that he says the same thing as he's been saying for years: is we take one game at a time, we prepare for one game at a time, and that's what happens. But he kind of hinted at it a little bit. And if you notice that at the thing, he's like, "You got to bring somebody else up here because me has nothing to do with me." That's basically what he said. He said this is a team effort. So he's been, what I think he's been preaching is a team concept. Yeah, I'm Tom Brady, but I can't do it without my center and my offensive line. I can't do it without my defense, making sure that the defense is doing what they're supposed to be doing. I can't do it without special teams. I can't do it without this. That's what he's preaching. He's saying, look, you've asked me 3 questions. I'm all set. Have somebody else come up here.
Next.
Next. Let me go be with my team because this is a team effort. So that's kind of what I'm feeling that he's telling his guys is that this is not about me. It's about the team. It's about the team effort.
Definitely. I'd be curious. Sort of my last sort of point on the Bucs here per se, Doug, is I was wondering sort of, I want to get your take on sort of Bruce Arians' job as a head coach of the Bucs this season, also sort of that Arians Brady relationship, because sort of early on in the season there was sort of talk of friction between the two and sort of some speculating about that relationship early on, but they really seem to have found a groove here, especially coming into this playoff run. So I was curious, just sort of what your take on Arians' job as a head coach of this Bucs team, but also just sort of your take, again, you and I both being sort of from an outside point of view here, what you've sort of have seen or observed about the transformation or evolution of Brady's and Arians' relationship as this season has gone along.
I think it's transformed huge, in a huge way, because I think what happened up front is that when Bruce Arians first got Brady, he thought that Brady was good enough to come into any kind of system, offensive system, and be able to work with it. And I think Bruce found out very quickly that he can't necessarily do it that way. I think that there was some conflict when they first started, at least the first few games, a few games. And the conflict was, I think Brady was getting very frustrated. Was getting frustrated with the offense. And I think it was a slightly different offense and more of a Bruce Arians offense. And sometimes you have to let your quarterback do what he's best at. What he's done the last 20 years. Let him come in and do. Now, he was saying, yeah, I did that. I don't think he did. I think he thought Brady had enough experience to be able to just, here's the offense. This is the offense I want you to run.
Yeah.
And we're good. And Brady's like, no, I don't think so. Not going to work for me. And you could tell the first few games there was a lot of, you could tell there was tension there too. And they said, no, everything's fine, no tension at all, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think
bologna sandwich right there.
Yeah, I mean, you got somebody who's got 20 years of experience. The guy's been to how many Super Bowls? 9 Super Bowls, won 6? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 Super Bowls, won 6, going into his 10th. You got to let the guy do his own thing. I mean, yeah, have some plays for him if you want to. That's fine. But you got to let the guy be a quarterback. I mean, do his own, not necessarily his own system, but got to let it be, man. That's right. Let it be. Let it be. Let him do his thing. And I think sometimes when you're dealing with coaches, you're dealing with players, sometimes they have egos. Yeah. I don't think Brady has an ego necessarily, although everybody tells him he's good and great and awesome and fabulous, fantastic. So it's hard not to have a head if everybody keeps saying that. And you hear it on national news, you hear it on what you hear it on a small sports blitz show, or you hear it from whoever, from people from Joe Montana and Joe Namath and all kinds of, these past unbelievable great quarterbacks. It's hard not to have a little bit of maybe not ego, but more confidence. I think he's got a lot of confidence. And I think you just got to let Brady be Brady.
Yep, let it be.
Let
Brady,
it be. Let Brady be Brady. And after that, the tension went away.
That's right.
It went away.
Let Brady be Brady.
Brady, let him call his plays. Let him go to his wrist and let him call his plays, because that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, and
more often than not,
it worked out.
He's got the experience.
Yeah,
there it is, right there. I mean, how can you? How can you go against that? You can't.
No, absolutely. And I think, his watching the evolution, like you were saying, of his relationship with Arians, of his relationship with Byron Leftwich, offensive coordinator, who obviously, was a pretty decent quarterback in his own right with Jacksonville back in the day. Definitely you've seen that sort of transformation and that sort of, that, like I said, just simply the evolution there as this season has gone along, and it's worked for them. It's worked out very well for them because it finds them now in the Super Bowl. So obviously things are working out pretty well there.
Right. Just a little.
Right now. And speaking of things working out, obviously, while Tampa, being the host city and, Tom Brady have been a big storyline, obviously they are going up against the defending Super Bowl champions who are coming off of their second straight AFC title, and what was their third straight AFC title game appearance, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs, who were the number one seed in the AFC, 14-2 overall mark. Obviously, have one of the best young quarterbacks in the game, and Patrick Mahomes, who obviously it's interesting. We kind of talked, just a minute ago about, Brady sort of using that experience to help guide the Bucs team into the Super Bowl. But yet, on the flip side, you look at Mahomes, who went in last year having no Super Bowl experience and was still able to come out with a win. So obviously, there's, and possibly, having Andy Reid, who has coached the Super Bowl before, may have been a little bit of a helpful factor there, for sure. But and by the way, Andy Reid, I mean, for a coach who just mocked and criticized all the time for not being able to perform in the big games throughout his entire career with the Eagles, I mean, what a turnaround for this guy. I mean, now what, 3 straight AFC title game appearances, 2 straight AFC titles, and a chance at a second straight Super Bowl. So, I mean, Andy Reid is definitely has definitely come a long way in the coaching ranks there. But yeah, let's talk about this Chiefs team. Again, like I said, 14-2. They went through. Oh geez, I'm having a moment here of of the run that they've gone on to make it to this point, and I apologize, folks. Wow, this is sad.
No, it's all right. Sometimes things come out of your head, man.
Yeah. Do you remember who they beat?
Who they beat to do what? In the AFC?
Well, yeah, let's start with that, because I'm blank. It's taking me a minute for some reason to come up with their entire run here in the AFC playoffs.
See, now you're making me blank it because you put me on the spot, but I can do a little research. Geez. Hold on. This is really professional, guys. Sorry about that.
I know this is
okay. This is the lineup.
They beat the Browns. Yep. Okay. Now I remember that game because we talked about that game at length.
And then the Bills.
And the Bills. Yeah. Wow. How could I not?
And they had the first game they didn't have to play. They had a bye.
I'm ashamed of myself.
No, that's all right.
I'm ashamed.
Hey, listen, I had to look it up too, man. It's all right.
But we talked about that Browns game for like an hour like 3 episodes ago. So how could we have forgotten at least about that and about the Bills who are in our own freaking division? But anyway, yeah. So beat the Browns, beat the
Bills.
Bills. They are the Chiefs. They did not beat themselves, not yet at least. So yeah, just what's your before I completely just dig myself a hole to China here. What is your takeaway on this Chiefs season overall and their run to a second straight Super Bowl?
Certainly not surprised. I mean,
No. I think a lot of us expected it, even from the start of the year all the way through.
yeah, I mean the offensive weapons are just are just too much. It's their defense is very good too.
Yeah.
It makes sense that they're 14-2. It makes sense they got the bye. It makes sense that they. I thought what was good is I certainly thought, and we were surprised about this too, and that's why we talked about the Browns game, is that the Browns actually gave them a little bit of a game.
Really did. Yeah.
Yeah, which really surprised me, thinking that the Browns are not exactly the best team in the whole world, but I think I'm trying to figure out whether it was the Browns actually being, really really good up until their 17-point potential, or was it really the opposite, which is the Chiefs, just like you said 2 seconds ago, beating themselves.
Well, to that point, how much of it was the fact that, Patrick Mahomes, what did miss about half of that game with a little concussion issue as well.
Yeah,
So
that's also true too.
I think that played a pretty big factor.
Yeah, I mean, yes, of course. Yes, of course. I believe that did play a huge factor. But I also think the Bills played well against them too, as well as they could have played against them also.
But the Chiefs were the Chiefs, and ultimately,
yeah, it's just what it is. I mean, the offensive weapons that the Chiefs have, that they put together, and their defense is just overwhelming. It's hard to it's hard to go against what you see, when it comes to those games. It's difficult. So yeah, they've had another year of a very impressive run, and Patrick Mahomes calling great games, and of course their defense and special teams doing exceptionally well. I mean, it kind of, what it does. It does remind me a little of those Patriots teams,
right.
The early Patriots teams,
the teams that repeated as Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
For the record, I mean the teams that we are used to some Super Bowl repetition around here because we repeated as Super Bowl champions and also made it 3 years in a row there back in 19, 18, and 17.
Right. Definitely. But I just see the same structure.
Yeah.
Same structure is there. And because I see the same structure, it's familiar. When you see a familiar structure, it's hard to be structured. Yeah. And it's hard to bet against that kind of situation. So yeah, I mean, just incredible again. The run that they've had. I think there are teams that have given them, a couple of, some issues here and there. It's obvious that if Mahomes goes out with an injury, that could be devastating. It's very obvious.
I really hope that doesn't happen. I mean, especially in a game.
I hope it doesn't happen either.
You really don't want to see either quarterback or any of the star players go out.
I know the only issue I have, Robbie, is that he's had a recent concussion, and once you've had a recent concussion, you could have one. Very much, he could get hit in the head, and it doesn't look as bad. Maybe he hits his head back on the ground.
You're right.
Doesn't look as bad, and all of a sudden he's out for a quarter.
You're right.
A quarter with a mild concussion. So
Yeah, no,
it's
you're right.
unfortunately it happens, and
Yeah.
you could get it a lot quicker the second, third, fourth time, and because of that, he's got to be protected. So,
Yeah.
and I don't see an issue with that, but I'm just saying it's got to be protected. Got to be careful.
That line's gotta come up big for him. You gotta I mean, as they've been doing all season long, but
Oh,
you
definitely.
really have to protect Mahomes at all costs in this game. And that's kind of the perfect segue sort of into the game itself. Again, we sort of talked about both teams in the road to get here. Now I kind of want to get into the Super Bowl itself and what we're kind of looking for in terms of keys for each team if they want to come out with that Super Bowl 55 trophy. Whether it be Brady getting his seventh or Mahomes getting his second in a row. And I want to start, since we kind of were just touching on it, I kind of want to start with the Chiefs a little bit and some of the keys for both of us to for the Chiefs if they want to, again, repeat as Super Bowl champions here. And I think for me, what we
You're not
just
going to start with me?
you know what? I just started with you for the last two topics. Don't get
Oh, because
greedy.
you're running the show, man.
Don't get greedy.
All
I
right,
feel
fine.
I feel like it's the perfect kind of tie-in because I was just going to talk about the offensive line. I think protecting Patrick Mahomes, which is what we were just talking about. I think they really need to give him the time and space to do his thing, which is I mean and the thing about Patrick Mahomes, as we all know, is that he could beat you so many different ways with his feet, with his arm. It really does not matter. Do his thing. Yes, exactly. Um, but yeah, I think the offensive line is going to be key for the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of not letting that Bucks defense disrupt Mahomes and sort of allowing him to get into a rhythm and making the plays that he is known to make. I also think it's interesting because you could kind of look at this particular key as sort of being a key for both sides, and that is keeping the other's offense off of the field. You want to have good sustained drives if you're Kansas City or if you're Tampa, because you want to keep Mahomes, you want to keep Brady on that sideline and not allow them to do what they do best. So I think that for me, sort of right on top, is a couple really big keys for Kansas City. But Doug, I will now throw it to you. When you look at the Chiefs, what are some of the things that you're looking for in terms of what they need to do again? Sustain that drive, man. That's right. What are some of the things you're looking for the Chiefs as they, like I said, look towards that second straight Super Bowl title?
Well, with the Chiefs, this could go. This actually can go half and half, and the reason I'm saying that is you'll find out. I looked up a little bit of stats. This can go for both the defensive end of Tampa Bay and the offense of the Chiefs. What the Chiefs have to do is the last time that they played against each other.
That's right. They met earlier this season in Tampa.
Yes. Yes.
And the
And
Chiefs won, I believe, if I'm not
Tyreek
mistaken.
Tyreek was all over the place, man.
Tyreek
He had
Hill,
he had 13 catches, he had 269 yards and
wow.
3 touchdowns.
Wow.
Okay.
I remember watching that game, and I remember him like sort of really starring that day. Yeah.
Yes. Just amazing. So for the Chiefs, it would be definitely to keep Tyreek Hill in the mix. Of course, they will, but just to keep, make sure he's more a part of the offense, because he seems to be able to, for some reason, and I'm not sure, the defense might be a little bit better now as opposed to when they played before. But still, I still think that he's a threat, and just to obviously, definitely keep in the mix on the defensive side. Tampa, they got to stop him. If they don't stop him, they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna be able to. They're gonna be able to do too much when it comes to um, to even winning the game. I mean, this proves it right here. So that's the first thing. Obviously, keeping Mahomes upright is super important. Keeping him injury free because he's got a foot foot injury too.
He has a
That
foot.
he's
Yes, he
been
does have a foot. You are correct. I'm glad you know that he
foot
has body
injury.
parts.
Foot injury. Thank you, Robbie. Foot injury. That you're so funny. He has a foot injury that he's still trying to work out. He has two, actually. Thank you very much. One happens to be injured. Thank you very much. So you got to keep him upright. You don't keep him upright, you get him hurt. That's going to be a big, huge problem. I don't think without him. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they can't. Especially.
Wait, you don't think Chad Henne can just will them to the Super Bowl?
Well, he did win that game. For them, but he didn't play a lot.
He had a pretty gutsy run there on what?
Yeah, but exactly. But there's no way he can sustain that. But if he gets hurt in the first quarter, he can't sustain that for 3 quarters. There's no way he could do that. Not against Tampa's defense. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
just the different kind of situation. But that's really my and I think there's going to be a lot of special teams that's going to happen here. I think you're going to see. A couple pick sixes. You're going to see a couple of really good defensive plays, and I think that's going to be some of the keys. But those are some of them are obvious, some of them are not as obvious. But those are my keys to the Chiefs.
Hold on, I'm jotting down that flaming hot take by Doug right there. The flaming hot prediction. 2 pick sixes. I'm gonna jot that down. We're gonna mark the tape and
several, at least.
And so I'm gonna hold you to that. So when we come back for our Super Bowl recap show sort of next week when we're sort of looking back on this game.
It'll be in 2 weeks actually. But that's okay.
We'll touch on it somewhat next week. I know what you're talking about, but we're definitely
that's fine.
We're definitely touching on this game next week, regardless of what special stuff we have coming up.
No worries.
But no, I definitely know what you're talking about, and you are absolutely correct. But yes, it's going to be the 2 pick sixes. I mean, just my mind just got blown there by that prediction. But given what we saw last week by the Bucs defense against the Packers, I mean, nothing would surprise me when it comes to the defensive play in this game. I think the Bucs had 3 interceptions against the Packers last week at least, and fumble recovery. I mean, just sort of everything under the sun defensively.
Not Aaron Rodgers-esque on that either, because Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that very often.
I mean, it definitely. Well, also, it was just kind of that fourth quarter, that sort of second half, definitely was a turnover battle. I feel like because Brady threw a couple balls that were not Brady-esque as well that ended up being picked off. Luckily for the Bucs, did not end up coming back to haunt them, but still, very interesting there. But I do want to sort of now go over to the Bucs a little bit, and I'll start with you this time, Doug. Sort of just what your thoughts are from the Bucs side of things. What sort of keys you foresee for them as they look to capture their first, and I looked up, that would be their first Super Bowl since 2003.
Yeah, I think the first one I have is to keep Brady upright. And that's on both sides. I understand it's on both sides.
Yeah,
give him time. The more time Brady has, the more opportunity he has to find somebody. Obvious. I mean, that's kind of obvious, and that kind of thing. But I'll tell you, if they put pressure on him, which I think they're going to do, that. It makes it more difficult. It gets him frustrated, and sometimes when he gets frustrated, he either throws the ball away. He throws it too
Makes
hard.
mistakes.
He
Yeah.
throws it in the ground. He makes mistakes. Like everybody, like every quarterback. I mean, Pat Mahomes too. Same thing. Pat Mahomes can run though. Brady, Brady
Right.
does a pocket. He's a pocket quarterback.
No,
He's going to run, but you don't want him to run.
Brady and running do not go in the same
No,
sentence.
you do not want we don't want that boy to run. Not even close. With Patrick Mahomes, it's different because he can escape, which he does, and then take off and get 5, 6, 7, and 12
I think
yards.
that's when I think you can make the argument that's when he's the most dangerous, is when he's on the move.
Yes. So keeping Brady upright is important. Giving him time to throw the ball is very important. That's definitely a key to the game. I think special teams are going to be huge too. Again, just like I said before. But I also think, I think that it's one very, very specific. You can write this one down too, Robbie.
Okay.
I think Evans needs to catch the ball. Catch the ball. That's all.
Evans catch the ball.
Yeah.
And that's with 2 L's. Got it. All right, perfect. Yeah. No, I agree with you there. I mean, looking at a couple of those interceptions, at least one that I can remember from that Green Bay game, squarely falls on Mike Evans' shoulders, or more specifically his hands. Pass going off and right into the hands of the defender there. He definitely got to do a better job of catching the ball, for sure. Got to do. You're 100% right on that. I mean, he's one of their top receivers. He needs to play like it.
Yes.
He needs to play like the receiver we know he's capable of being, especially in a game of this magnitude. So I completely agree with you there. I think you and I are very much in agreement on the keys for the Bucs there. The one thing I would add, and this can kind of go both ways. I feel like there are a lot of keys here that can kind of go to both sides, and that's for the Bucs defense, getting pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Do not let him get into a rhythm. Do not give him time to sort of, like I said, get that momentum going, or to do what he does, so to speak. But also contain him. You got to contain Mahomes as well, like you were just talking about, because if he gets in space, he could be very dangerous. He could be very dangerous either on the run or even just, throwing outside the pocket as well. He has the ability to just take nothing and create something. It is unbelievable.
He has the ability to run to one side and then throw to the other side.
Yeah,
that's the ability.
No, it is. It is unbelievable.
It's not an issue for him either.
It is unbelievable the ability he has to just like I said, make something out of nothing. Really,
looks like he's going to be sacked, and all of a sudden he puts his hand down.
He completes a
30-yard
pass.
Yeah, he completes a 30-yard pass, and it was just should have been
what?
sacked.
It's like, wait, what? How? What just happened? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that's the big thing for the Bucs defense. You gotta get to Mahomes, and you gotta keep him contained if you want a chance to win. And like I said, sort of on the duality that I mentioned earlier. Even just keep Mahomes off the field if you're Tampa's offense. And I think, their receivers need to have big games. Third down conversions, I think, will be a very big factor in this game. So the ability to stay on the field on third down offensively and get off the field on the flip side on defense, get off the field on third down, get those stops. I think will be big keys for Tampa. I kind of wanted to sort of switch gears here a little bit before we go into our official Super Bowl 55 predictions here. I wanted to kind of go away from the game itself a little bit here, and I wanted to sort of look at the Super Bowl. It's a great game, but it also is it's entertainment every single year. Sort of there's a lot of stuff surrounding the Super Bowl that people, even if you're just a casual football fan, people tune in specifically for. And I think a couple of those things are the halftime show, obviously, and the commercials. And so I was just curious, Doug, again, sort of heading into a Super Bowl that does not involve the Patriots, where we're kind of, obviously we're excited about the game, but we're kind of looking at it from a a non-involved teams fan point of view as well. I was just sort of curious what things about the Super Bowl not related to the game are you looking forward to as you prepare to watch was always one of the biggest sports and entertainment events every single year.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some of the commercials. I know that some people haven't been able to. Some of the bigger companies obviously are have the money to do it. There are some companies that probably won't do it because they're you know what's going on in the world. But I'm looking forward to seeing some of the crazy commercials that come out. Some of them are really good, and some of them aren't. And just looking forward to seeing, kind of that. If I remember correctly, it's supposed to have fans in the stands too. Aren't they supposed to have like 22?
Yeah,
22? I thought it was 15. Okay, so they're looking forward to.
And by the way, shout out. I'm sorry to cut you off here for a second, but shout out to Bob Kraft and the Patriots who are flying in a whole bunch. I forget the exact number, but a whole bunch of vaccinated healthcare worker heroes into Tampa for the Super Bowl. I think that is, just an amazing thing. Robert Kraft, he's a great owner, but he's also just a great humanitarian. And we see that, we saw earlier in the pandemic, we're using the Patriots plan to get masks from China and, protective gear from China back here in the United States to help out. But now this, surprising all these just very deserving healthcare workers with a trip to the Super Bowl, I think is is something that's really cool.
Yeah, thanks for taking my final thought. But okay.
Geez.
No, it's no worries. No worries at all. I have another one. I always have a couple under my sleeve here. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Pretty much. That's really it. I don't have anything else that I can think of.
Yeah, same here. Same here. I'm intrigued for the commercials because I'm intrigued to see kind of what the tone of the commercials are going to be this year, just given all that's gone on over the past year. I think it's going to be very interesting. I also am intrigued to see sort of this year's version of the halftime show. I guess it's going to be a little bit longer than halftime shows of the past. It's also going to be set up in the stands, which I think is going to be very interesting. The Weeknd, by the way, is the Super Bowl halftime performer. I'm very, very much intrigued about what the product, besides the game itself, what the product is going to look like this year. And the other part of the Super Bowl that people always talk about is the prop bets, that people that people sort of do along with betting on the game itself. You see people sort of betting on these like little things, who's going to score the first touchdown, what the length of the national anthem is going to be, just all these little things. And so I was curious, Doug, and I kind of did this on another show that I'm a part of earlier this week, On a Couch Talking Sports. Shameless plug, I know. But
watch it, it's awesome.
Thank you. Doug.
No, Kyle's awesome.
Frequent guest. I know. He's the one who makes the show go, man. I'm
right.
I'm just there for the ride. But I was curious and I wanted to sort of play a little quick prediction here. The Super Bowl national anthem. Obviously, that's one of the big sort of prop bets each year is how long the Super Bowl national anthem, yes, on the couch talking sports, or these days in chairs in separate bedrooms talking sports, or in a car talking sports on occasion.
Okay.
Yeah, we make do. I was curious. I'm setting the official Sports Blitz over under of the Super Bowl national anthem at 2 minutes, and I was curious, and I had the names of the Super Bowl national anthem. I know it's a singer named Jasmine Sullivan is one of them, and then there was guy who's singing. It's sort of a duet national anthem this year, but I'm gonna look up the name, and I want to set it over under 2 minutes. And I was curious. Um, Eric Church, Jasmine Sullivan, Eric Church will be performing the national anthem. So I was just wanted to get your take, your hot prediction. Super Bowl national anthem over under 2 minutes. Go, Doug.
What? I'm sorry. I was not really paying attention because you talked about the Super Bowl national anthem. I know there are bets on everything, whether Brady's going to step onto the field with his right foot or his left foot.
But this seems to be a big prop. Is this the length of the Super Bowl national anthem? So I figured, why not roll with the tide, and try to be prognosticators here.
Okay. Well, I don't have any clue because I typically stand up, I take my hat off, I put my hand on my chest. And I sing the national anthem if it's going off, but I don't usually. The only one, there was a national anthem that was done. I believe it was for. I don't know whether it was for a basketball game or it was a guitar player that was doing the national anthem on the guitar, but no singing. I was not real happy with that. I'm kind of a national anthem purist, I guess. So. If Whitney Houston, God rest her soul, is singing the national anthem, I'm good. I'm listening. If there's somebody else listening, I'm probably going to get a beer and then coming back and just not really. Maybe, I don't know. Do I think it's going to be over 2 minutes? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
It's probably this year. It'll probably be over 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm going full. I'm on the over train the whole way because I feel like, especially with it being a duo performing this year, I just think it's going to be longer. It's going to go a little bit longer, for sure. So I just for fun, we did that earlier this week on a couch talking sports. I kind of wanted to throw it out there to the sports blitz. To us, and also even to the Sports Blitz listeners, if you guys have a take on that, or even just any sort of particular little side bets that you're interested in throwing out there, definitely drop us a comment. Wherever you watch/listen to us. Are there any sort of other, I don't know, Doug, are there any sort of other little Super Bowl side bets, that intrigue you at all? Or are you not really into that whole thing?
I never really got into that kind of thing. I like hearing about them because I think they're pretty funny. I think it's very, very funny. There's a guy from a mattress company, a mattress owner, that bet on the Chiefs. I don't know what he bet. I just know he bet the Chiefs to win 3.5, close to $3.5 million, 3.4, 7 or 9 or something like that.
Wow.
And he actually shows, you see a picture of him. If you go to Bleacher Report, you can actually see a picture of him. He's got a smile on his face, and he's got his phone up, and you could see the bet that he did on DraftKings.
If the Chiefs don't win, that smile is going to fade very quickly, though.
Well, I have mixed feelings about that, Rob. Because if he's got,
oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, if he's got $3.5 million to be able to burn, he should be burning that on his company. He should be burning that for the healthcare workers. He should be burning that on giving some money to the people that actually need it.
Yeah, put to a good
cause.
I
understand that he wants that he's like, yeah, I'm cool. I got my picture in the paper. Yeah, big deal. I don't really. It's not even a guy from Massachusetts.
I mean, do we know that he doesn't, like, maybe it's just some, maybe he.
I don't know. Maybe he does. I don't know. I didn't read anything about him. So
I don't want to judge too much until we know sort of the full story there. But I definitely see your point, but I don't want to judge the guy too much.
believe me, I'm not judging him up front. I'm just saying that if he's going to bet that much money,
he better be putting more other money towards more, charitable causes.
I hope that he's putting other.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Hope that he's putting.
I know. I agree with you there. I agree.
Toward people in need, because that doesn't. Just in this time, it just doesn't. That's all I'm saying.
No, it definitely has a bit of a bad look to it. You're right.
That's all I'm saying. In the time where people are losing their houses, losing their cars, losing their possessions, losing their jobs, not able to work, all this kind of stuff. It just doesn't. That's all.
You're right. No, you're right. I 100% agree. Absolutely true. Speaking of predictions, though, it is time now to make our official Sports Blitz Super Bowl 55 predictions.
Wish I had a sounder. Da, da, da.
Da, 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 ding ding.
I gotta get a sounder, man.
Yeah. Doug, I'm gonna let you go first here, my man. You don't have to bet money. You don't have to like pick against the spread or anything like that. You don't have to be like one of these gamblers. Or they go by 3 or 3.5, anything like that. All I want is straight up and down, Chiefs or Bucks.
I could even. How about a score? I can give you a score.
Yes, that too. Absolutely. Okay. Go for it.
I'll do Chiefs Bucks and a score. It's so right now, and I'm going to tell you, I think you feel the same way. It's really, really hard to be able to say what I'm about to say because in my heart, I'm rooting for Tom Brady to win his 10th chip.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's in my heart.
Right.
But when you look at the two teams, they're pretty close. Although I think there's some things that the Chiefs have that the Bucks maybe don't have. So I'm going to say this game is going to be closer. I'm going to say that it's going to be an offensive fest, and that's just my opinion. It's not going to be a 9-3 game. Sure. Not going to be that.
It's not going to be like the 10-3 Pats-Rams Super Bowl.
Exactly. No. It's not going to be that. I'd be very surprised if it was that, but I don't think it's going to be that.
Right.
And my heart tells me I guess I really want Tampa Bay to win because I want to dethrone the champs. On the flip side of it, you and I have been doing the Sports Blitz for 4 years now.
Crazy that we're coming up on our 4-year anniversary.
Yeah, coming up on a 4-year anniversary. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But it's one of those things where I feel like I have to be a little bit less emotional and more on the logical side as opposed to
I don't know about that because you're about to hear my pick coming up here in just a couple minutes. But
I know. But my feeling is that the Chiefs are going to win.
Okay.
I may not want them to win, but I think they're going to win. I think it's going to be 31-27.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
All right. Hey, listen, I agree with you in the sense.
And what's yours, Robbie?
I agree with you in the sense that this has been one that I have gone back and forth about 100 times. And full disclosure, as if you've heard us the last few weeks, I picked against the Bucks, against the Saints. I picked against the Bucks, against the Packers.
I didn't.
And was wrong both times. So it comes down to the same question for me. Do I go with my heart or with my head? Well, Doug, I think you're a very smart man to use your head on this one, but I'm riding my heart my whole way on this one. I'm going with the Bucks. I'm riding that Brady train the whole way, man, right into that Super Bowl 55 station, man. I'm going Bucks 34-30. Bucks are going to take it home. Brady's going to get his 7th. I think they're going to do just enough, especially being at home. I think that might play.
That could be a big deal.
Being at home and that familiarity could have its upsides. There's especially depending on the weather. I know there's a chance of some wet weather for the game. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays a factor. I like the Bucks. I like the
I'm
Bucks.
going to tell you this, Robbie, right up front. I like the Bucks too. I just think the Chiefs.
No. I understand.
I'm going to actually be rooting for Tom Brady.
I understand that. I understand that. And I understand with you actually making your prediction using your head there. Believe me, I totally get that. I went back and forth on it 100 times.
It's very, very. This has been the most difficult.
But I'm going out on that. I'm gonna go out on that ledge. I'm gonna take that shot, and I'm going to make my official prediction, saying that the Bucks are gonna win 34-30. So we shall see. And actually, a quick follow-up that I just thought of, really quick.
Yes.
Quick follow-up prediction here. I didn't originally plan on this, but I want to do very quickly here. Quick note. Your prediction, Doug, and I'll make mine as well. Super Bowl 55 MVP.
Nice.
I wasn't gonna do it, and then the thought just popped in my head, so I was like, I'm gonna go for it.
Darn it. I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with Patrick Mahomes on this. My heart says obviously I'm gonna win for Tampa Bay, but again, my prediction was that the Chiefs will win. I think Patrick Mahomes will get the MVP. He'll get it. I just think that's just, again, a little bit of logic.
Now, if you thought my game prediction sort of strayed from logic, this prediction may actually stray even further from logic, because I think you might have this idea in your head of what you think I'm gonna say. I'm not going that way at all. I'm gonna go with, and I'm completely blanking on his first name.
Because what I think you're gonna go with is Tom Brady, but you're gonna go against that.
I'm not gonna go with Tom Brady. I'm gonna go with Godwin. I'm gonna go with Godwin, a Super Bowl MVP, receiver for the Bucks. Just looking at the last couple of games he's had, I think that he is primed for another big game on the biggest stage. I think he's going to be a big factor in the Bucks winning this game, offensively, and I think that he's going to get that nod. Believe me, it's very tempting to go with Brady, but I have this feeling that even if the Bucks do win, and like I said, I predict them to win, I think the MVP is going to go to one of the receivers. I think it's going to be Godwin. So that's sort of, if you thought my Bucks victory pick was a hot take, this might actually be an even hotter take. You can mark that down in the books.
Well, how about this for an even hotter take?
Oh,
you ready?
Boy. Oh boy, I'm
this
ready.
This has nothing to do with the Super Bowl, but it has to do with football.
Bracing myself here. Okay, here we go.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Don't be surprised. Win or lose, if you see wide receiver Mr. Godwin on the Patriots next year.
That is a hot take. It's a hot take that I like.
Next year. Don't be surprised. Just saying, we got a lot of money and a lot of cap room to think about. Oh, don't be surprised. That's just a little bit of side take.
Okay.
A side take.
I like it. You know what? I wouldn't hate that take at all if it comes.
No, that would be good.
I wouldn't hate it at all.
Throw to him.
Yeah,
you and me, Robbie. I'm not sure who.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
We will.
And again, that's another conversation
for another day. Yeah. But all right. So Doug's going with the Chiefs. I'm going with the Bucks. We're both rooting for the Bucks. But regardless, I think we could also agree that it's going to be a very exciting Super Bowl 55 coming up here on Sunday. I can't wait to see what happens, and we're definitely over the next couple of weeks going to be sort of recapping it and either talking about Brady losing his fourth or winning his seventh, and on the flip side, we'll either be talking about Mahomes continuing what would be if he wins an unbeaten Super Bowl record at 2-0, or going back down to 500 1-1. But we are going to now move on to what is always our favorite portion of the episodes, and that is our final thoughts for the week, even though I just clearly hijacked Doug's final thought.
Okay, I always have a couple of them because you sometimes do that.
I
So,
do.
all right.
I do. Hey, listen, you didn't call dibs in our text chat like I did. So
I didn't. I didn't.
Doug, what is your final thought for episode number 71?
So my final thought, Robbie, for episode number, I can't believe this, number 71 is Mr. Rob Gronkowski was on several interviews this week. Actually, he shouldn't be on any interviews. Actually, he shouldn't say a word about anything. Sometimes he's a little too honest. So this week he was on some, I don't know, some newscast, or I think he was talking to a reporter or something like that. Turns out that he actually might be in a little bit of trouble.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But not the kind of trouble that you think about is like real trouble. It's kind of more like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. So he was explaining to the reporter about how they do virtual workouts. So the reason that the way they do virtual workouts is that they tape the virtual workout and then send it. It's like taping a Zoom call. You tape your workout, you do a certain workout for that day or for that week. It's pretty much like that week you do the same workout, and then the next week it might change, but you do the same during the whole week. So you do the workout and you send it that day.
Right.
You send it out to the not the head coach. You send it out to your offensive coach. Strength coach. Yeah, strength coach. And you send it out so he knows that you did the workout and that you're ready for the game. So he said the first week he did the workouts and that they were fine and that they started to get kind of boring, and the first week he did them. So what he told the reporter is that he decided that he was going to fake all the rest of the workouts for the whole rest of the year. So what he did was he brought out a new shirt. So every time he would do certain things, you do it for the week, he would record it. He would record it once. Okay, you're supposed to record every day, your everyday workout. He would record it once and then send it out. Send that one. He would send it out every day of the week. Same recording. He would just change his shirt to make it look, you got to look nice. You got to look, pumped up, and, you have to have the, you sweat a little bit, blah, blah. So he would do that. And he would just record and then send out the same recording for that whole week and not do.
Boy, I gotta say, his strength coach must have thought he was working out the most consistent weather of anything. I mean, I feel like I get the shirt thing, but I feel like you could easily get caught with that if it was supposed to be like 3 days of rain, and all of a sudden your coach sees, wait a minute, he's working out. It's like sunny and 70.
Right. Well, most of the workouts were indoors. So most of the workouts were indoors. So
they were all indoors. Outdoors. There's an easy way to disprove that.
So what he would do is he would record like 15 times a session. Yeah. So he would record 15 and then send those each day and not do the workout, because he would
just do it all one day.
Yeah, he did. He would do it all on Monday and then send them out for the week. And he wouldn't do Tuesday, he wouldn't do Wednesday, he wouldn't do Thursday, he wouldn't do Friday.
Unbelievable.
Because he'd send out the recording, and this is how he got around practicing.
2020, working out. 2020.
He would change the reps around. So every time he recorded it, he would change the reps. So he would change it, because then he would be doing something different. And then the strength coach would go, he's doing something different. He's doing 3 reps instead of 5. He's doing 12 instead of 10.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Amazing. I mean, that's just, and I'm not surprised at all. knowing him, I am not surprised at all that he would
But
do something like that.
but if you think about it, Robbie, he hasn't missed a game. He
True,
hasn't been hurt. He
true,
didn't get hurt because he didn't work out.
true.
He hasn't missed one game.
He also hasn't been
So
targeted all that much
this season, I should say.
either.
No, that's true, Phil. Yeah.
But wow, yeah, I'd heard that story as well, and
I just
that
thought
is,
it was really,
no,
really funny.
that's classic Gronk, man. What more can you say? It's just
I just
classic
totally,
Gronk.
totally classic Gronk, and it's just so funny hearing him and what he says, and I just I'm glad he's back because we don't hear from him as much when he's not in football.
Yeah, right.
It's really fun to hear him just talk about how he's trying to get around the system, which is so interesting. It would be interesting to figure out whether he did that for the Patriots at all. I don't think he could do that because it wasn't COVID time, so it wasn't something that he'd probably do, but get around it that way. But just that's so Gronk-esque, I guess you could say. It's just unbelievable. So, Robbie, what is your take for episode number 71?
Yeah, so my my final thought is actually not football related. I know, shocking given what we just talked about for the last hour and a half. But this week, a notable Boston sports star announced that he is hanging up his spikes, so to speak, after a long and successful MLB career. Dustin Pedroia has finally decided to retire. I feel like he's kind of been retired for the last 2 seasons.
All right, hey, Robbie, it would have
Yeah.
been nice for Manny Machado to hang up his spikes before he spiked Dustin
Yes.
Pedroia in the knee.
Yes.
So that would have been probably a better
No, you're
idea.
right.
So sorry, I
You're
just
right.
thought I'd interject that.
No. Machado's dirty. Yeah, anyway, excuse me. But yeah. But yeah, so Dustin Pedroia has officially called it quits this week. Again, I hate to say it, but it kind of felt like he was retired for the last couple seasons. Just because of his nagging injuries due to the Machado play and other things. But I wanted to give what was a tremendous career the credit that it deserves. He has been a tremendous part of this Red Sox organization. He has been part of 3 World Series championship teams. He has been a leader. He is, sort of one of those players who, even though he's shorter in size, he makes up for it with heart and hustle, and just he just you never had to worry about him taking plays off, taking at bats off, anything like that. I mean, he was just the consummate, dirt dog, so to speak, just, hustling after every ball, hustling on the base paths, when hitting wise, yeah, he didn't hit for that much, he didn't hit for power all that much, although he definitely had the capability, as we saw a few different times. But he could definitely hit for average, hit for speed. I think one of the plays that I'll remember the most is during the Clay Buchholz no hitter, the diving stop that he had up the middle to help preserve that. Just one of the many highlight reel plays that Dustin Pedroia accomplished during his tenure with the Red Sox, and I just wanted to congratulate him on a tremendous career. I wanted to wish him well in retirement and thank him for everything that he did for the Red Sox organization during his MLB career. He will be missed. And I just wanted to give that his career the true credit that it deserves, as he calls it quits.
Hey, listen, I totally agree with you. I'm glad you were able to talk about it because you're obvious you're the baseball guy of this particular twosome here, which totally makes sense. But I just wanted to I wanted to throw a just several just stats because I knew some of these things, But when you think of Dustin Pedroia the last few years, you don't think about what he has done for the game, because all you've heard about in the last few years is, oh, he's hurt and it's his knee, and if he's there, he's not there. But just think about this. And I'm just going to list off a whole bunch here, and I want you to listen to this because I think this is really important.
Yeah.
Because Dustin Pedroia, the awards and honors and leaderboards that he has put together is unbelievable. And I didn't even know half of this stuff. And people need to know this because of the fact that all we've been thinking about. And I said, oh, geez, he's not playing this year. And oh, he's probably not going to play this year. And he's probably not going to play this year. But he has been in 4 All-Star games. He was the 2007 AL Rookie of the Year, 2008 AL MVP, 2012 AL Wilson Defensive Player of the Year, 2013 AL Wilson Overall Defensive Player of the Year. He got in 2013. He was also the regular, not just the overall, but the AL Wilson Defensive Player. 2016, he also got that same award. The AL MVP in 2008. Let's see, 3 MVP voting results. He got 4 Golden Gloves. He was a 2008 AL Second Baseman Silver Slugger Award. Just unbelievable here. He's got a 299 career batting average.
Unbelievable.
299. 5 seasons in the top 10 in batting average. 5 seasons. Unbelievable. At bats, 5 seasons in the top 10 at bats. Games played, also same thing. Plate appearances, 5 seasons again in the top 10. Unbelievable. Just all these total bases, doubles, 54. And in 2008, he was number 1 in the AL with 54 doubles. Just all these stats. Guys, you got to look him up and see what he's done throughout the years here. He has just been just an incredible player. And all we've heard in the last few years is, oh, well, he's not going to play. He's not going to play. I wish he would retire. I wish he'd go away because he's sick and tired of hearing his name. He's done a lot for baseball. And I'm hoping that he sticks around. I wouldn't have a problem with the Red Sox. Let's put it out there, Robbie. Red Sox should hire him in some kind of capacity.
Yeah, I agree.
So he could definitely, he definitely should be hired.
Alex Cora, keep him around, man.
That's right.
Let's
right. Got to keep him around.
Gotta.
Second base coach, whoever, who cares?
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Give him a quarter in the dugout so he can, sit there and hype up the players or whatever. But
no, I agree.
Just incredible stats. And when I looked up his stats and when we first heard the announcement, I was blown away. I was like, well, I don't remember this. He went to 2 Super Bowls? Super Bowls, right. We're talking about Super Bowls. He went to 2 Super Bowls. He went to 2 Super Bowls, too. Unbelievable. He was, the quarterback?
Maybe he was at Super Bowls. I don't know.
He might have been at 2 Super Bowls, but he didn't play in them that I know of. At least anybody. Maybe in the last couple of years he did. He was World Series.
He was actually at 3.
3.
07, 13, and 18. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, again, more stats. Got to look up his stats. Got to look up what he's done in his life. And the fact is that he's okay with it. He's okay with what he's doing. And I just give stats man. Yeah, that's right. I just give kudos to him. I wish him good luck with whatever he's doing in the future. Hope to see him as somebody that's part of the Red Sox in the future. Just thanks so much for all the stuff that you've done there, Mr. Pedroia.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Just a really great player.
Absolutely agree. We'll miss you, Dustin, but
Yeah.
thanks for everything. So we have come to the end of Super Bowl 71.
See, see, I told you, it's like Super Bowl's on the brain.
I know,
It's
right?
hard to get
I
it
know,
out of your
man.
brain.
It's really hard.
Coming at the
But
end of the Super Bowl. Wait, well, which team are you? Are you Tampa or am I the Chiefs or what? What's going on?
but we have come to the end of episode
Sports Blitz
number
episode Super Bowl.
71, Super Bowl preview
Super Bowl
edition.
preview, right?
Hey, listen, folks, we've got a couple really exciting episodes coming up here over the next couple of weeks, and I actually want to kick it over to Doug here briefly, sort of give you a little teaser, if you would, Doug, to what we have planned for the next couple of weeks. Because this is very exciting stuff we got coming up.
Yeah, we're very excited about this, Robbie. This is going to be really a great couple weeks. Next week we are going to have. It looks like, and I'm still working out the details, but it looks like we're going to have a very special guest on, a guy I worked with, and it's going to be. We might even do a preview next week. Robbie and I might preview it a little, and you'll be able to get a little preview. But I'll give you a little taste of what we might talk about. All I'm going to say is that Robbie and I, and since we've had this show, the Sports Blitz, we have not talked about this subject, and it is sports related. So it's very interesting. I think it's going to be very interesting for people who want to know more about this. And Robbie and I will get together sometime next week and give you a little preview of who's going to be on our show next week. We're going to have a special guest, and he does a lot of this in sports. So that's all I'm going to give you right now. But it's going to be a great episode. We're looking forward to it. And after that, 2 weeks from now, is going to be the Sports Blitz Anniversary Edition. It's going to be a special episode.
4 years, man. We were talking about it.
That's right.
4 years ago this afternoon was when the idea for the Sports Blitz was born.
Yeah, 4 years this afternoon. We went to the, and we'll give you a little preview on that too. We went to a basketball game, BC basketball game against Louisville. And we were really there to not watch BC. And
it wasn't a great performance by BC.
It was terrible performance by BC.
Really not good.
Got killed.
I think Doug was more there to see Rick Pitino personally.
I really did want to see Rick Pitino and how he was going to yell at his players. So anyway,
Antoine Walker wasn't walking for the door, right?
No, nobody was. Oh, Larry Bird, McHale, Parrish.
Yeah.
No, they're going to be old and gray, so that's not going to happen.
No.
And it turns out that Rick Pitino is actually getting kind of old and gray, so we should go with Larry Bird and those guys are. But anyway, this is where we sat and formed the idea of what we now call the Sports Blitz. Yeah. And we are going to have a special episode that's going to be, and I can't tell you anything about it because we haven't even formed it yet. But it's going to be a special episode. We may have some special guests chime in if they would like to. We may have some guests come in here and there. We're still working on it, but it's going to be a really special episode. It's going to be really cool. So you got to watch this. The next 2 episodes are going to be great. We are thinking about having some other episodes down the road, including another Rivers episode. So we're working on that too. Rivers Day Camp episode. The last one last week was fabulous.
Oh, amazing.
And hey, listen. If you're on this, what we call Sports Blitz on YouTube, just subscribe and hit the bell. We need more subscribers. We want to get out there. And the next 2 weeks should be really great. So we're really looking forward to it, Rob.
Absolutely, Doug. Couldn't agree more. And yeah, to Doug's point, definitely, if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. Click the bell, like Doug was just saying. We're on SoundCloud. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We appreciate anybody if you've watched or listened to one episode or all 71 so far. We really appreciate it and cannot wait to bring you even more exciting Sports Blitz episodes here in the coming weeks, especially the next couple weeks are going to be a lot of fun. I can already tell you that much. So that wraps up episode number 71 of the Sports Blitz. Thank you, everybody, as always, for tuning in, listening, watching, however you are hearing us right now. Yes, that. As always, I'm Robbie. That's Doug. And we will see you next time out here on the Sports Blitz. Bye, everybody.
See ya.